from ghoulies and ghosties and long-leggedy beasties and things that go bump in the night. Good Lord, deliver us. It is nearly Halloween, and I told you I'd be back. It is I, Bishop Peter. Welcome back. Well, here we are again. I said I was going to come back to you, and here I am. It is, of course, as you know, Bishop Peter Fox, coming to you courtesy of St Edward's, Castle Donington. The vicar, our vicar, Andrew, has very kindly asked me to come back and do some more of my Thought for the Day programme, which I'm really happy to do. I'll be with you right through until the new year now. I'm just not so sure about the title. I mean, Bishop Peter's Thought for the Day. One thought for the day. I mean, sometimes I have 2, maybe 3 thoughts before breakfast. Just one thought at a time then. Well, at the time of talking to you, it's nearly Halloween, and you know, the shops are full of plastic pumpkins and styrofoam skeletons, and we've got cobwebs and zombie masks in all the shops, and vampires and zombies on our televisions, and it's that time again. I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know how you feel about this, but I've always found Halloween, to me feels very modern, you know, very modern thing. I suppose it's because when I was growing up, back then, we had wirelesses instead of radios, and we used to do summers by counting on our fingers. These days, you know, you do it on your telephone. It's a different kind of world. But when I was a kid, I mean, Halloween, we thought of Halloween as being a sort of American thing. You know, it was like Thanksgiving or the 4th of July. I mean, we knew what Halloween was. It was something we read about sometimes in old fairy stories, and that's where it belonged. But then, obviously, somebody realised that they could make money out of selling, you know, witch hats and fancy makeup. Somebody hit on this marvellous plan for making us all dress up and frightening ourselves to death. And I'm not talking about my theological college; that had been doing it for centuries. No, they discovered there was money to be made from Halloween, so here we all are, year after year, for some strange reason, marking Halloween, feeling rather American about it. Should we be worried? I mean, I know a lot of Christians do worry about Halloween, and I can understand it. They're worried that somehow marking Halloween is going to encourage superstition and dangerous dabbling with dark forces. But I don't know really. For most people, I suppose, it's just a bit of daft fun, isn't it? You know, sort of running around in the dark, frightening ourselves, and then going home for cocoa and a cuddle. So I don't suppose most people really take it that seriously. So probably for them it's not such a problem. I mean, for instance, here at Castle Donington, we've got the pumpkin walk, which I think is probably going to be quite good fun. Some good fun for the kids, and better than all that trick-or-treating stuff, because, you know, for a start, all those sweets hurt your teeth, don't they? I don't suppose we'll get many sweets this year. So harmless, pretty harmless really. But I don't know about you. For me, Halloween just seems a bit daft altogether. I mean, the things that people say. And what is Halloween supposed to be? Halloween's supposed to be when all the forces of darkness come out, all the evil and malign creatures walk the streets. I mean, usually a kid wearing a zombie suit. But, you know, all these evil forces come out, and the church and all the hallowed things, the holy angels and all that, are all in retreat. Well, yeah, chance would be a fine thing. I mean, the church just carries on doing on the 31st of October what it always does. I mean, God's still in his heaven. You know, goodness is still goodness, love is still love. None of that changes just because it's the 31st of what day is it? The 31st of October. Yeah, I can't even forget. So I don't know. And I mean, I always wonder which 31st of October it should be. I mean, did it all change when the calendar changed? I mean, back in 1790, when we changed the calendar, Did all the forces of evil change their calendars too? Well, which Halloween are we talking about here? The one we have now, or the one we had back in 1789? And witching hour, the witching hour. You know, we're all about the witching hour. I mean, is that Greenwich Mean Time? I don't know. I often wonder. So by and large, if you ask me, I think Halloween's pretty harmless, really. Like most things American, the banjo, they do some things very well. But I suppose the real problem is that out there, I mean, when we're putting our broomsticks and our witch hats back in the attic and getting out the Christmas decorations ready for December, there are one or two sad, frightened people out there. And they're out there whether it's Halloween or not. I mean, they're always there. Sad, frightened people who are rushing home from their Halloween party to get on the darknet and see if they can find a coven to join, or maybe asking their Ouija board for answers, or just hiding under the bed, scared stiff that the vampires are going to come and get them. There are always one or two of those sad and frightened people. And I must admit, I do worry about them. I worry about them 365 days of the year. Because they're the ones that somehow don't get the joke. They think, they just believe it all, whatever it might be. What about those ones? See, the problem is, if, like me, like most Christians, you believe in the reality of evil, a force of evil. The problem is Satan, if we call him that, is a liar. That's what we have to understand about him. He is a liar, a deceiver, a thief of reason. He is a master of misdirection. You know, like a magician, making us watch the right hand so we don't notice what the left is doing. So everything to do with Satan, we've got to watch out for the lie. Look for the lie. I think it must delight him that we spend so much time rushing around, chasing our Hollywood imaginations, when all the time the real evil goes on right under our noses, and by and large we take no notice. I mean, think about some of the ordinary, normal things that evil does in our world. Nothing supernatural. Think about greed. Think about negligence. Think about apathy. Think about conceit, self-righteousness. Think about all those nasty, little, wicked things human beings are capable of without ever needing to bring a single demon into play. Think about poverty, for instance. Think about poverty. The reality is that if some of those big corporations, the heads of some of those big corporations, the multi-millionaires and billionaires of our world, would give up taking their $1 trillion annual bonuses for just a few years, there's more than enough money and more than enough resources to feed the hungry and to make poverty history. Look for the lie. It'll be whispered in our ears that the poor of the world are a problem. But the poor of the world are not a problem. We are the problem. The rich, those who need, or those who think they can't cope without having too much. It's wealthy. It's wealth that is the problem, not poverty. The poor are the victims. So that's a lie. And it's a lie we all hear constantly, and of which we pay no notice. Think about war. That little voice will whisper in our ear that war is inevitable. It's just human nature. Well, what about all those victims of war? What about those people whose lives are blown apart by the bomb or the drone or the AK-47? Most of those people had no part in the decision to go to war. It was something that was decided by politicians far away, well out of the firing line. It wasn't the people who died who made the decision that war was inevitable. That little voice will whisper in your ear, it's whispering all the time at the moment, that religion is a dangerous thing, a bad thing, whatever the religion might be. And you'll hear people say in pubs and bars, when we're able to go back to pubs and bars, they'll say things with great authority. They'll say, most of the wars that have happened in history have been about religion. Lie. Most of the wars that have taken place through history have not been about religion. They've been about economic power. They've been about land, oil, and water, resources, power. Admittedly, the lies went on more than once. Religion of one sort or another has been used as an excuse, distorted, misquoted, twisted around. The truth is, money makes wars. Economic power and the lust for it. That's what creates war. 95 times out of 100. Listen for the lie. Watch out for the lie. And don't worry too much about ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties and all the supernatural powers of Satan. They're actually quite easy to deal with. It's the other things that get a grip on us. It's so difficult for us to just control or destroy. See, the problem is we all let ourselves be befuddled by the image. We have this image of Satan as being this great, magnificent, moody but magnificent, majestic person. He's nothing of the kind. I wish he would wear his horns and his tail so we all knew who he was. The real problem with Satan is he doesn't look like any of those things. Satan is like a grubby, snotty, naughty little boy, daubing his sticky hands across everything that's beautiful. It's jam fingerprints across the Mona Lisa. That's who he is, because evil is ugly. What evil does is ugly. It's not beautiful, it's not majestic. It's horrible, small, and obscene. We should switch the lights on and look at the monster for what he really looks like. And it turns out, if we look at him properly, he looks rather like us. Well, God bless. Don't forget to say your prayers on Halloween.